The harsh sound of tires screeching against the cracked asphalt breaks the quiet of the evening. In a flash, a car races by, leaving a desperate dog in its wake. Max, a strong yet battered dog, looks around frantically. His collar lies abandoned in the dust, a silent testament to his sudden departure. Alone, he limps toward the edge of the road, his breath shallow and his eyes wide with fear. The world around him seems cold and uncaring. With no owner in sight, Max is left to fend for himself in the cruel streets, his loyal heart still yearning for the love and safety he once knew. The night sky looms overhead, dark and unforgiving, while distant sirens echo, fading into the night. What fate awaits Max? Only time will tell. Max stumbles down the empty street, his body aching from the wear and tear of his struggle. Each step is heavy, yet driven by a silent hope that somehow, someone will notice him. The street is cold and unwelcoming, with trash littering the edges and the remnants of a once bustling city, now abandoned to the silence of the night. Max pauses for a moment, scanning the dimly lit alleyways, hoping to find something to ease his hunger. His stomach growls, reminding him of the days without food. As he moves cautiously toward a dumpster, the sound of a distant voice echoes, but it's gone as quickly as it appeared. Max's heart beats faster, filled with a sense of longing, a desire to be seen, to be loved again. But he knows that he's alone. Max's struggle is just beginning, and there's no one in sight to help him. With a sigh, he picks up his pace, knowing he must keep moving, even in this world that seems so indifferent to his pain. Max's eyes widen as he hears soft footsteps approaching. A woman, perhaps in her 30s, emerges from around the corner. She pauses when she spots Max, her expression softening. Her name is Emily, and she's seen too many animals in need, too many lost souls wandering the streets. She crouches down to Max's level, extending her hand slowly toward him. Max flinches slightly, but doesn't run away. His heart races, a flicker of hope igniting within him. Emily speaks in a gentle voice, trying to reassure him. "Hey boy. It's okay." Max stays still, but his eyes never leave her face, as if assessing her sincerity. She doesn't make a move to grab him, sensing his hesitation. Emily reaches into her bag, pulling out a small sandwich, offering it to him with a smile. Max's stomach growls again, louder this time, but he remains cautious, not yet ready to trust. Emily's kindness is a rarity in this world of indifference, and Max isn't sure if he's ready to accept it just yet. Max hesitates, unsure whether to take the food. His body is torn between survival instincts and the deep-rooted fear of being hurt once again. The scent of the sandwich tempts him, but the memories of betrayal linger in the back of his mind. Slowly, he moves closer, his steps unsure. Emily smiles softly, her hand still extended. Max sniffs the sandwich, and after a long moment, he gently takes it from her hand, his eyes never leaving her face. As he eats the first real meal he's had in days, he relaxes a little, his muscles loosening. For a fleeting moment, he feels safe. Emily watches him eat, her heart aching for the dog who has clearly suffered. As Max finishes the sandwich, his body language shifts slightly, more at ease now. He lingers, looking up at Emily with a mixture of gratitude and uncertainty, still not ready to fully trust but grateful for this small act of kindness. Max finishes the sandwich and takes a hesitant step back. Emily stays crouched, her hand still extended, but no longer offering food. Instead, it's a silent invitation, a moment of connection, an opportunity to trust again. Max stands still for a moment, his eyes flickering between Emily's hand and her kind face. His instincts are screaming at him to run, to not get too close, but a deep, lingering sense of loneliness drives him to remain. Emily says softly, "You don't have to stay, but I can help you if you want." The words hang in the air between them, heavy with the possibility of a new beginning. Max takes one tentative step toward her, his body trembling slightly, unsure if this is another cruel illusion. But this time he stays. For the first time in a long while, Max allows himself to believe in the possibility of kindness. As Emily slowly stands, she reaches for him, offering him a chance at something he's never had before: love, trust, and a place to belong. Max walks through the alley, his tired body struggling to keep going. The hunger in his belly is unbearable, but his heart is still open to the possibility of kindness. As he turns a corner, he hears a soft mewing sound, barely audible. His ears perk up, and for the first time in days, he stops. At the base of a dumpster, curled up tightly, is a tiny kitten, small, fragile, and clearly in distress. She is shivering, her fur matted and tangled, her eyes wide with fear. Max's protective instincts flare. He approaches slowly, careful not to scare her. The kitten flinches but doesn't run. Max, still wary but filled with a deep need to care for her, sits down nearby. She looks at him, her tiny body trembling. He tilts his head, sensing that she is just as lost as he is. With a soft whine, Max leans forward, offering the kitten a comforting gaze. It's in that moment that Max knows he isn't just surviving anymore. He has someone to protect, someone who needs him. Over the next few days, Max visits the alley each evening. He brings scraps of food he finds along his way, always careful not to scare the kitten. Slowly, she begins to trust him. Her fear starts to fade, replaced by curiosity. At first, she hisses when Max approaches, but he never retaliates. Instead, he sits patiently, his eyes softening with every passing moment. Max is a guardian in the making, and the kitten begins to see it. Every evening, she moves a little closer, inching toward him with hesitant steps. One day, she finally lets Max nudge her gently with his nose. The moment is brief, but it marks the beginning of their bond. Max lies down beside her, and she nestles into his side, seeking comfort and warmth. In this fleeting, quiet moment, both the dog and the kitten find solace in each other's presence. They are no longer alone. One evening, as Max and the kitten sleep together in their usual spot, a sudden noise startles them both. A large, shadowy figure looms over them. Max's protective instincts snap into action as he immediately jumps to his feet, his body tense. The kitten lets out a small frightened mew, and Max stands between her and the looming figure, a stray dog who's been causing trouble in the neighborhood. The other dog is large, with a menacing glare, and its growls reverberate in the stillness of the night. Max faces off with the dog, his muscles taut and his stance defensive. He doesn't want to fight, but he won't let this dog hurt the kitten. The air is thick with tension as Max stares the stranger down. After a few long moments, the stray dog sniffs the air, and sensing Max's determination, slowly backs away. Max stands his ground until the dog disappears into the darkness, the kitten hiding behind him. As the threat fades, Max gently nudges the kitten, making sure she's okay. He lies down beside her again, a silent promise in his eyes. He will always protect her. The encounter with the stray dog leaves Max shaken, though he doesn't show it. Later that night, as the city sleeps, Max and the kitten rest together under a small awning. Max is still on edge, his eyes darting from side to side, scanning the dark corners of the alley. The kitten, however, seems to have found comfort in his presence, curling up beside him with a soft purr. Max looks down at the small, fragile creature next to him, a sense of responsibility settling in his chest. He knows that he is her protector now. In the stillness of the night, Max reflects on the past, the loneliness, the abandonment, and the cold streets he once wandered. But now, he has something to care for, something to protect. As the stars flicker above, Max lets out a soft sigh, the weight of his new role settling in. He will never be alone again. He has found purpose. With the kitten safe beside him, Max finally allows himself to rest, his heart at ease for the first time in what feels like forever. The days pass, and Max's bond with the kitten deepens. The small creature, who was once so fragile and afraid, now seeks him out for comfort. They are no longer just two lost souls, they are a team. Max shares his food with her, and she shares her warmth. She follows him everywhere, growing more confident with each passing day. Max teaches her how to navigate the alleyways, how to find food, and how to stay safe. She begins to trust him fully, and in return, Max feels something he hasn't felt in a long time: hope. For the first time in what feels like forever, Max believes that maybe there is a chance for both of them, a chance to escape the harshness of the streets. Together they are stronger, and they face each day with a renewed sense of purpose. Max has found a companion in the kitten, and in protecting her, he has found a part of himself that was lost long ago. Max, having grown comfortable in the safety of his new routine, is beginning to feel a sense of trust and stability. Emily had brought him into her home for the first time, providing him with shelter, food, and a warm bed. The kitten, now more confident, plays with the toys Emily had bought for her. For a while, everything seems perfect. But the calm is shattered when Emily's voice breaks the silence. She has received a call from a potential adopter who wants to take Max home. Emily hesitates, torn between her love for Max and the promise of giving him a better life with a family who can provide more. She's uncertain but agrees to meet with the adopter. When Max is introduced to the family, the warmth of his new life quickly fades as he senses something off. Couple, though kind, don't seem to understand him. They rush to touch him, a little too eagerly, their smiles forced. Max's instincts scream at him to run. He feels the same feeling of abandonment creeping in, the fear that he will be discarded again. He pulls back, refusing to let them take him. The tension grows, and the adopter's frustration mounts. It's a moment of betrayal, not because of the adopter's cruelty but because Max feels the threat of being replaced, once again. Max spends the next few days in turmoil. Emily tries to reassure him, but Max can't shake the feeling that he's being forced into a new life. He's not ready. Every time the door opens, his heart races. He's afraid of what's behind it, another home that will not understand him. He stays close to the kitten, seeking comfort in her presence. But the strain on him is palpable. Emily senses his discomfort, but doesn't know how to help. She loves him, but she knows she can't keep him forever. One evening, as Emily prepares for another meeting with the adopters, Max decides to act. He can't bear the thought of being taken away, not again. As Emily heads to the door, Max steps in front of her, his tail tucked low. He's desperate, not wanting to leave the only safety he's known. Emily stops, startled by his sudden action. She kneels down, looking into his eyes, but there's a sadness there. She knows what this means. Max is not ready to go. She's forced to cancel the adoption meeting, feeling torn between what's best for Max and her own desire to keep him close. Days go by, and the tension in the house continues to grow. Emily's kindness never wavers, but Max's sense of betrayal deepens. He understands that she loves him, but he's afraid of becoming too attached, afraid that she will one day, just like the others, give up on him. In his mind, it's only a matter of time before he's back on the streets, abandoned once more. One evening, Max slips out of the house unnoticed, unable to stay any longer in the confusion of his emotions. He walks down the familiar streets, the cold night air biting at his fur. His thoughts are clouded with fear and doubt. He doesn't want to leave Emily, but he doesn't want to face the pain of being rejected again. As he walks through the dark alley, he hears the faint sound of a car engine in the distance. A flash of light catches his attention, a car with a family in it, heading toward Emily's house. Panic surges through him. Is she going to give him up? Will he be left alone again? He runs faster than he ever has before, but when he reaches the house, the car is already gone. Max looks up at the window where Emily stands inside, unaware of the turmoil he's feeling. He doesn't want to be alone, but he's scared to stay. His emotions are at war, and the night is no longer his refuge. Max returns to Emily's house, his heart heavy with guilt and fear. He had run without thinking, driven by the fear of abandonment, but now he's unsure of what to do. He's back in the same place, but it feels different. There's a sense of unease in the air. Emily notices Max standing by the door, his body tense and his head lowered. She walks toward him slowly, kneeling down to his level. Max looks up at her, his eyes filled with a mixture of confusion and sorrow. Emily speaks softly, her voice breaking the silence. "I don't want to lose you, Max," she says. But Max can't shake the feeling that one day, she will let him go. As he sits there, feeling the warmth of her hand on his head, he doesn't know how to respond. He feels safe in her presence, yet the fear of being left behind looms over him. Emily continues to speak softly, promising him that he will never be abandoned again, but Max isn't sure he can believe her. The tension between them is palpable, both of them caught in a moment of emotional vulnerability. The next morning, Emily stands by the window, looking out into the street. Max watches her from a distance, sensing that something is about to change. The adopters have called again, asking if Emily is still willing to let him go. She hasn't responded yet, caught between the love she feels for him and the reality of her limitations. Max feels the weight of her indecision. He understands the sacrifice she's making, but he can't bear the thought of being abandoned again. As he watches her, a quiet decision forms in his heart. He will make the choice for her. He will run again, this time with the hope that he can escape the emotional turmoil that threatens to tear them apart. Max moves quietly to the door, his body tense but resolute. He stands there for a moment, looking back at Emily, who is still lost in thought. Without another word, he slips out the door and into the cold morning. He doesn't know where he's going, but he knows that he can't stay in this place of uncertainty any longer. The bond between him and Emily may be strong, but Max fears it may not be enough to keep him from being hurt again. Max, though he has found some semblance of peace with Emily, continues to carry the weight of his past. One evening, as he rests by the fire, Emily notices a scar across his side that she hadn't seen before. She gently runs her hand along it, and Max flinches, his body tensing. Emily realizes how little she knows about Max's history. She's only ever seen the dog who was abandoned, lonely and afraid. But there's more to him than just the surface. She begins to ask questions, her voice soft but insistent. Max doesn't answer, but his eyes speak volumes. His past is a painful one, full of betrayal and loss. As Emily sits next to him, she recalls a story she once heard about a dog like him, a dog who was trained to be a service animal before being discarded. The story stirs something deep within Max, and though he doesn't remember it all, a faint recollection comes to him. The flashes of his former life are scattered, but they begin to piece together, like a puzzle he's been too afraid to complete. Max had been more than just a pet. He had been trained for something greater. The realization shakes him, but it also gives him a sense of purpose he hadn't felt before. Maybe his past wasn't as empty as he thought. The more Emily learns about Max's past, the more she feels the weight of it. She's discovered his true origins, a trained service dog who was abandoned when no longer needed. Max hadn't just been left behind, he had been discarded like a tool no longer in use. The betrayal stings, and though Emily tries to comfort him, Max pulls away. His once strong sense of loyalty is now tainted with distrust. The bond they've built feels fragile, like a thread that might snap at any moment. He can't help but wonder if Emily will too, discard him when she no longer feels he's useful, or when a better dog comes along. It's a deep fear, one that he struggles to admit even to himself. Max runs to the back door, looking out into the night, his breath quickening. He can't stay here, not when he's reminded of his past, of how quickly people can throw him away. Emily, seeing him at the door, calls out to him, but he doesn't turn around. His heart is torn. He wants to stay, but he's afraid. In that moment, he decides to leave. Without another word, Max runs into the night, the door slamming behind him. Max runs through the streets, his paws pounding against the pavement as his mind races. The night air feels cold against his fur, but it's not the chill that makes him shiver. It's the weight of the decision he's just made. He's left Emily, the only person who has shown him love and care since his abandonment. The city is empty at this hour, and Max's breath is sharp in the quiet. He doesn't know where he's going, but he knows he can't stay with her. It's too risky. The thought of being discarded again makes him feel sick, his heart heavy with uncertainty. But as he continues to run, something shifts in him. A voice in his head whispers that running won't fix anything. He stops suddenly, panting and disoriented, his eyes scanning the darkened street. Max stands still for a moment as if waiting for something. The truth begins to sink in. Emily hadn't abandoned him. She's been patient, trying to understand him. It wasn't her that he feared, it was the ghosts of his past. Max's heart softens, and for the first time in a long while, he allows himself to feel the possibility of trust. He knows what he has to do. Turning around, Max heads back toward Emily's house, his steps slower now, filled with a new sense of hope. Max returns to Emily's house, his heart heavy, but his steps more determined than before. The house is quiet, and the door is slightly ajar. He hesitates for a moment, unsure of what to expect, but then he pushes it open. Emily is standing in the living room, her face pale, her eyes filled with worry. She hasn't moved since he left, but there's a quiet strength in her gaze. She doesn't say anything at first, but the tension in the air is thick. Max approaches her slowly, his head low, his body language apologetic. Emily looks down at him, her expression unreadable. For a moment, the silence is deafening. But then, Emily speaks softly, her voice breaking the silence. "You don't have to be afraid, Max," she says. "I'm not going to abandon you." Max stands still, unsure if he believes her. But something in the way she says it, something in the warmth of her presence, makes him take a step closer. He slowly walks up to her, his tail tucked but not as low as it was before. Max looks up into Emily's eyes, and for the first time in a long while, he doesn't feel alone. He's home. The days that follow are filled with quiet moments of bonding. Max, now understanding that he can trust Emily, begins to relax into his new life. His fears are still there, but they no longer control him. Emily watches him closely, seeing how his personality begins to emerge again. He's not just a scared dog trying to survive. He's Max, loyal and loving, with a heart that's ready to give. The kitten, now a little older, follows him everywhere, and the two animals share an unspoken bond. Max no longer sees his past as something to be ashamed of, but as part of who he is. It's a painful past, but it's made him who he is today. He's found a family, and he knows deep down that they're not going to leave him. Emily holds Max's face gently one night, looking into his eyes as she whispers, "I'm not going anywhere, Max. You're safe here." Max's heart swells with gratitude. The pain of the past still lingers, but it no longer defines him. He's home, and for the first time, he feels like he truly belongs. Just as Max begins to settle into his new life, the world once again turns against him. One evening, as the sun sets and the sky darkens, a familiar face reappears at the door. It's Victor, the shelter manager from the past. The man who had once coldly turned Max away. His face is set with a stern expression, and there's no hint of warmth or kindness. "I'm here to take him," Victor declares. Max's body tenses instantly as the old fears resurface. He growls low, his hackles raised, not understanding why Victor is here or what he wants. Emily stands in the doorway, her heart racing with the sudden intrusion. She doesn't want to let Max go. Not now, not ever. But Victor's presence is a direct threat to the safety and peace Max has finally found. Victor presses on, saying that Max belongs to the shelter, and they have every right to reclaim him. Emily is caught in a tough position, her emotions swirling. She tries to reason with Victor, but he's unyielding. Max can feel the tension mounting. The love and trust he's found with Emily are suddenly at risk, and the protective instinct he's always had flares up once more. He won't let them take him, not again. The fear of being abandoned is overwhelming, but he's ready to fight for his place in this new life, even if it means standing up against Victor's cold cruelty. Max growls again, louder this time, as Victor steps forward. Emily's voice shakes as she pleads with him, but Victor is resolute. "You're making this harder than it needs to be," he says, his voice cold and dismissive. Max's instincts scream that something terrible is about to happen. He won't allow anyone to take him back to that dark, cold shelter, to that life where he was just a tool, a forgotten animal. Emily steps between them, her heart pounding, but she's willing to protect Max no matter the cost. She reaches down, trying to calm him, her touch gentle and reassuring. "Max," she whispers. It's okay, you're safe here. But Max's fear is too deep-rooted. He's been abandoned before, and he won't allow it again. He lunges forward, barking fiercely, his protective instincts in full force. Victor steps back in surprise, but he quickly recovers, trying to assert control. You think you can keep him forever? He's mine. Emily, desperate, turns to Max, her voice filled with pleading. Max, don't do this! The tension is unbearable as the standoff continues, both Max and Emily desperately holding on to the life they've built, while Victor remains determined to take it away. The situation becomes unbearable. Max's growls intensify, and his body shakes with pent-up fear. Emily, seeing the deep struggle in his eyes, begins to cry. She reaches out again, her voice breaking. I won't let him take you, Max. You're home. But Victor isn't swayed. He steps closer, his hands outstretched, ready to seize Max. It's then that Max makes the decision. He lunges forward with a sharp bark, and the fight erupts. Victor stumbles back, taken aback by the sheer force of Max's will to protect himself. Emily screams, Stop, Max, please. Max, in a moment of panic and survival, tries to break free of the physical hold Victor attempts to place on him. It's not a fight for dominance, it's a fight for freedom. The scene is chaotic, with Max desperately trying to escape the man who's come to take him away, while Emily struggles to keep the situation from escalating further. Max is fighting not just for survival, but for the love and safety he's found. The reality hits hard. Max may not be able to save himself from this, but he will do everything in his power to protect the life he has with Emily. In the heat of the moment, Emily makes a split-second decision. She reaches forward, grabbing Max's collar and pulling him back just as Victor lunges for him again. Max, now free from Victor's grasp, runs toward the door. Emily screams, Go, Max, go! The world outside seems so much more threatening now. The darkness, the unknown, the chance of losing everything again. But Max doesn't hesitate. He runs with all the strength he has left, his paws pounding against the ground, the fear of abandonment pushing him faster than he's ever run before. He's not running just to escape Victor, but to protect the life he's built with Emily. As he runs into the cold night, his heart races, but a small glimmer of hope remains. He's not just surviving now, he's fighting for something that's his. The camera follows Max as he disappears into the night, a dog running for his life, but this time, with the chance to choose his own future. Max runs until he can no longer hear the sound of Victor's voice or the faint call of Emily. He slows down, panting heavily, but he doesn't stop. His heart aches with the weight of the choice he's just made, and for a moment, he stands still in the dark, unsure of what comes next. He's not ready to give up yet, not when he has something worth fighting for. Max takes a deep breath, feeling the cool night air fill his lungs. He knows he can't go back to the life he had before, and he can't stay in the uncertainty of his current situation. But he has one thing left to give: the love and loyalty he has for Emily. With that thought, Max turns around, his steps firm, heading back toward the only place that has ever felt like home. He's ready to face whatever comes next. For the first time in his life, Max is no longer running from the past. He's running toward the future he deserves. Max has found his place. The days are no longer filled with uncertainty, but with calm and comfort. He rests in his favorite spot by the window, watching the world outside. Emily, now his constant companion, smiles at him, and Max feels a peace he's never known before. The fears that once ruled his life are slowly fading. He is no longer just surviving, he is living. Max's tail wags gently as Emily kneels beside him, petting him with a smile. Home is no longer a word full of doubt. It is where he belongs. Days pass, and Max's bond with Emily deepens. They go on walks together, exploring the nearby park, with Max running freely by Emily's side. The trust that was once so fragile is now unbreakable. Max is no longer afraid of the future. He has found a place in Emily's life, and in her heart. Emily watches him with pride, knowing that they've both come so far. Max, once the broken dog running from the past, is now a joyful companion, full of life and love, no longer defined by his history but by the love he has found. Max and Emily share quiet moments together, sitting on the couch, reading, or simply enjoying each other's company. There are no more fears of abandonment, only a deep sense of contentment. Max has learned to trust, not just in Emily, but in the world around him. The scar from his past remains, but it no longer defines him. Emily sees him for who he is now, a loyal companion, a loving friend. And Max, for the first time, allows himself to fully embrace the peace he's found. His heart is finally at rest. Max's transformation is undeniable. No longer the fearful dog who cowered in the streets, he now walks with confidence. He interacts with the world around him, greeting other dogs, playing with Emily in the yard. He's become the dog he was always meant to be. Emily looks on with pride as Max leaps joyfully, his movements graceful and strong. The past is still there, but it no longer controls him. Max has found his voice again, not through fear, but through love. His heart is open, and he's finally free. Max stands at the door, looking outside, his tail wagging gently. The world no longer seems so intimidating. Emily steps up beside him, her hand resting on his back. Together, they face the future, a future filled with possibility. Max may never forget the scars of his past, but he knows now that he's not alone. He has a family, a home, and a life full of love and adventures waiting for him. Emily smiles, knowing that their journey has just begun. Max's heart is full, his past healed, and his future bright. Together, they walk into the next chapter, side by side. Max and Emily share a peaceful moment together, sitting on the porch as the evening sky fades into twilight. The world is quiet, and for once there is no fear, no uncertainty. Max rests his head on Emily's lap, his eyes closed in contentment. Emily gently strokes his fur, smiling down at him. The bond they share is unspoken, deep, and unbreakable. This moment, simple yet profound, speaks to the heart of their journey together. Max is no longer the broken dog he once was. He's whole. The days are filled with joyful freedom now. Max runs across the open field, his body full of energy, his tail wagging wildly. Emily watches from a distance, her heart swelling with pride. Max has become everything he was always meant to be, a loyal, loving companion. The worries of his past have faded into the background, replaced by the present, which is full of joy and possibility. Max runs toward Emily, his eyes bright and full of life. His future is no longer uncertain, it is full of love. As they sit together by the water, Max and Emily share a quiet moment of reflection. The water sparkles under the setting sun, and Max gazes at the horizon, his thoughts seemingly far away. Emily watches him, a soft smile on her face. There is no more fear in his eyes, only a sense of calm and belonging. For Max, this is a new chapter, one filled with hope and the promise of tomorrow. Emily is content, knowing that they have both healed and grown. The future is bright for both of them. Max stands at the top of a hill, looking out at the vast open landscape below. Emily stands beside him, her hand on his back, both of them taking in the beauty of the world around them. The future is filled with endless possibilities. Max has come so far, from a frightened dog abandoned in the streets to a confident and loved companion. The journey wasn't easy, but it led him here to this place of peace and acceptance. As Max looks ahead, he knows that whatever comes next, he will face it with Emily by his side. Max curls up beside Emily on the couch, his body relaxed and content. The world outside is calm, and for the first time in his life Max feels truly at peace. The scars of his past no longer weigh him down. He has found his place in this world, with Emily by his side. The house is quiet, filled only with the soft sounds of their breaths. Max knows that this is where he belongs. In this moment, everything is perfect. His heart is full, and he is finally home.